There is a skill in relational mindfulness called dual awareness. It sounds incredibly simple until you try it in a heated argument with someone you love. Dual awareness means staying connected to yourself while staying connected to the other person, or staying connected to your belief system while exploring alternative beliefs. In a sense, it's holding two things that are almost opposites. One physicist, Niels Bohr, once said, "A great truth also has an equal and opposite great truth." That always stuck with me. Somehow, dual awareness is part of my nature since I was very young. Think about the last time you got into a disagreement. Maybe it was about politics or food or money or chores or somebody loading the dishwasher like they were raised by raccoons. Although raccoons might be very organized. I don't know. So, what usually happens? Usually, one of two things: we double down and attack, or we collapse ourselves to keep our peace. Dual awareness is the practice of not abandoning either reality. You stay connected to your own internal experience. This might be your racing heart, your fast thoughts, your preferences, your boundaries, your physical body. And at the same time, you stay present to the person in front of you, their face, their tone, their fear, their longing, their reality. Not because you agree with them, not because you are giving up on your own truth, but because you are staying in contact with the whole field of what is happening. Dual awareness. Most of us are trained to think in terms of me versus you, my opinion versus your opinion, my truth versus your truth, my side versus your side. But in a real relationship, the disagreement is not just a wall between us, it's something happening between us. We are participating in it together. Here's an example. Can you hold your deep preference for green energy while also sensing what it feels like to be someone whose entire community relies on coal? Not to erase your values, not to pretend that, again, climate doesn't matter, not to compromise your care for Earth, but to actually let both realities exist in the room. The reality of ecological urgency and the reality of someone whose livelihood, identity, family, and town is tied to an industry you may want to move away from. This is hard. That is what and why dual awareness is a practice. When you shift and you drop the urge to win or defend, the moment becomes human again. Disagreement does not magically disappear, but the chemistry changes. The electricity between us changes. It becomes less like a battle and more like contact, less like proving, more like sensing, less domination, more relationship. We have spent a billion and billions of dollars and decades of learning how to understand ourselves through individual self-help, but we have not trained ourselves nearly enough how to be together when things get hard. So next time you feel yourself hardening in a conversation, pause, take a breath, feel your feet on the floor, notice your body, look at the human being across from you and ask, can I stay in contact right here without trying to win? That question might not solve everything, but it might keep the conversation alive long enough for something wiser to appear. So in dual awareness, we're not leaning in from solving, we're leaning in from being with what's here. We have now seen in our lifetimes decades of people attempting to solve and all. When I first started hearing about this coal thing and hearing and seeing the other side that wanted to have a representative in government that supported their mission, while it seemed like from my standpoint, it was time to move on from coal, that was the first time I felt it, and I started a movement, an activism, in my own head, and some comedy jokes about adopt a coal miner. There was all this talk of, like, going away from coal, but there was no talk of, like, how are we gonna help them? Is there we could have set up something awesome that they might have rather done a program instead of going into, isn't it kinda dark and dirty in a coal mine? Anyway, it wasn't out there. It was just not even a concept, adopt a coal miner. I did a few little comedy bits about it in, tiny shows, and, it felt good to, like, give that voice in a world of the West Coast, who have no concept of coal. We don't have any coal near us. These conversations over my lifetime, it's been very one-sided. Whatever side I'm on, it's been the one side, and dual awareness is, like, opening it up. And so this can just lead in so many different ways to what's happening now all around us. And, yeah, adopt a coal miner today. Oh, and if you like this video, there's the subscribe button. This one I usually do over here. And then I think there's a cool video on, how righteousness I don't know about the sound on that one, but how righteousness can sometimes get in our way of progress, even though we mean well.